Good morning, welcome to Tropic World at Brookfield Zoo. My name's Amy and I'm one of the many animal care specialists that work here today. We're going to talk today about a very special orangutan who's celebrating a really big birthday. Her name is Sophia and she's one of the really important animals here in our Brookfield Zoo family. Of course it's going to rain right now. But let me call her out. She's waiting behind the scenes, so give me just a minute while I call her out. Hang on. Unit 407 from 407X.
Alright.
We're ready for Sophie. So she's going to open the door and let her come on out. Sophie knows it's her birthday. She's got a little cake waiting out here for her, and she saw it before we were setting up, so she knows what to expect. She lives right now with her mate Ben. That's the sound of the door. And their 4-year-old daughter Heidi. So that's who's coming out. The little one's Heidi. Sophie's number 2. Big Ben is in the back. I have a bunch of little distractor cakes, so hopefully Sophie will find the big one, but we'll see. They're finding all the little ones, so that's kind of fun. So anyway, Sophie's an orangutan, which means she's a member of the great ape family. Now, great apes also consist of a bunch of different animals called, some are gorillas, orangutans, chimpanzees, and bonobos. And when you lump all the like animals together, animals that are the most like each other, we would fit into that category too. We're the most like great apes. So Sophie's not a monkey, she's a primate, but she's not, there she is, she's getting the big cake. Haha, nice job, Sophie. She is an ape, but she's not a monkey. Monkeys have tails and apes do not, just like we do not. They also have very large brains. They're very smart. They love to problem solve. And they live very, very long lives. What makes her an orangutan instead of any of the other apes is some of the cool things about orangutans. They're the only great ape that has this beautiful orangish red color hair. They all have it. They are also the only great ape that lives in Asia, and they're the only great ape that lives in the trees. Gorillas, chimpanzees, and bonobos all live on the ground and considered terrestrial. They'll go up in the trees and do a lot of stuff, but orangutans spend most of their time up in the trees. They are the largest animal in the world that lives in the trees. Sophie herself was born in Texas at the Gladys Porter Zoo. She arrived at Brookfield in 1992. And she's produced 6 offspring in her life. 5 of them were here at Brookfield Zoo, actually here in Tropic World. Most of her time over those years have been spent with Ben, her mate. One of the other things that makes orangutans different from other great apes is that they are considered to be solitary. It means in the wild they tend to live alone, but they are not isolated. They are very social. Here in Brookfield Zoo, we like to keep them together as a family group. They do really well because they are very social. So Sophie likes to spend time with Ben. She also likes to spend time away from Ben, and we let her have that option. So when she's with Ben, she likes to wrestle. They like to forage for food together like they are now. Sophie really loves to steal food away from Ben, and being the constant gentleman, he always lets her take it. She also really likes to sit back and watch Ben play with the youngsters. He's really a great dad, and he spends a lot of time playing with the kids, and she likes to sometimes take a break, sit back and watch him take over. But sometimes she likes to be alone with her babies, and she has the ability to do that here. When she's alone, she'll spend time nursing and resting, sometimes playing with her babies and watching them explore and learn and teaching them stuff. Sophie has 6 offspring in her lifetime, like I said. Orangutans raise each offspring for 6 to 8 years to help them, and then they help them set up territories close to mom's home territory. So, like I said, they are solitary and they have their own territories, but they usually have relatives living close by. Sophie's had 5 daughters and 1 son. She has 2 of her daughters still live here at Brookfield. Heidi's 4 years old, who's eating that little cake, getting as much as she can. Also, Keikasi, a little older daughter, is 12 years old, and she lives in another group close by. And Sophie's also a grandmother to 3 orangutans that live in other zoos around the country. So what makes today a big birthday for Sophie? It's her 40th birthday. That's a big milestone. It's something that we really need to celebrate. They can live into their 50s. I usually equate that to a person living to be 100. You can do it. Not everybody makes it. So all these big milestones are really important. Once they hit 40, they're generally considered to be geriatric, and they can start having issues, and their geriatric issues are very close to ours. They develop arthritis, they can have dental concerns, heart issues are really common among great apes. Oh, she's gonna get as close as she can. How you doing, Soph? But one of the reasons they can live these great long lives in professional care is that we have an amazing veterinary program here at Brookfield Zoo. The vet staff is wonderful, the vet techs are really amazing, and they stop at nothing to make sure each animal can be as healthy and comfortable and live as long a life as they can. We also have some really developed training programs with our apes. We teach them mainly to help us take care of them. So if they have tooth issues, we'll brush their teeth. We ask them to present different body parts that we can examine. And they really help a lot in helping us take care of them in their own health care. So we're excited here to be celebrating Sophie's 40th birthday with you. It's certainly a milestone, and we look forward to many, many more.
All right.
Do we have any questions?
We've got tons of questions.
All right.
What are her favorite enrichment items?
Her favorite enrichment items. Sophie is very motivated by food, so anything that she can get into and there's a treat involved, she really likes that. She also likes puzzle devices, and since they're big problem solvers, one of our jobs is to create problems for them to solve. Sometimes though, when we give her an enrichment device, she's more interested in taking it apart than actually using the enrichment. So anything that lets her use her big brain and she can get a snack.
That's a great way to go into our next question. Do you ever have any challenges because they're so good at solving problems?
Yeah, we do, because they all have their own opinions and they don't always necessarily jive with what we have on our agenda for the day. So we're always trying to figure out ways to make them excited about doing the next thing that we have on the schedule. But if they are really interested in doing something of their own, we definitely let them take their time and do what they want to do. It's a matter of having a give and take relationship. Working with orangutans is always a negotiation. And so, you know, your schedules are kind of kept in check with that. Also having a daily routine so they know what's coming up next helps. But you need to have that variety too to offset that so no one gets bored.
And what does she have in her birthday treats?
Her birthday treat. So her cake is made of a base of chow, which is a monkey biscuit. It's kind of like a cereal. It's fortified with all kinds of vitamins. And then over that is spread some yogurt that was flavored with sugar-free Kool-Aid powder, grape. And then I surrounded that with some bananas and some grapes just to make it look fun.
What's the browse that they have today?
It's a type of ficus browse. I don't remember the species name, but they really enjoy it.
Awesome. What are some of her other favorite foods?
Favorite foods? They love fruit, orangutans in general, and Sophie does too. So I think bananas and grapes are high up on her list. She also really enjoys her chow, which are the monkey biscuits. She really likes those, so that's why her cake was pretty much made out of chow and fruit.
How many family groups do we have here at Brookfield Zoo?
At Brookfield Zoo, we have one family group that consists of a mom, a dad, and their offspring. Then we also have a second group that has two youngsters, so it would be Ben and Sophie's older daughter, who's 12 years old, and Kachil, our little adopted guy, who just turned 7. So they're kind of two youngsters living together and having a great time. And then we have a male called Brunei, and he lives on his own.
What are the differences between the male and female orangutans?
There's a lot of differences between male and female orangutans. The males are probably about twice as big as the females. As you can see with Ben over here, he's got those big floppy cheek pads on the side of his face. They're called phalanges, and they're full of fat, I guess. And we don't know exactly what they do, but we do know that females really like males that have nice large phalanges on their face. They could be a sign that he lives in an area that has a lot of good nutrition and good food to eat. It might help with their long call. They have a vocalization called a long call that the males make in the forest to let everyone know they're there. But we do know that they are good at attracting mates.
How many species of orangutan are there?
That's a good question. There's two main species, Borneo and Sumatran, and then the third species was just discovered in the last few years. All orangutans come from two islands in Southeast Asia, the island of Borneo and the island of Sumatra. So the Bornean orangutans obviously come from Borneo, Sumatran orangutans come from Sumatra, and then the third group is also from Sumatra.
Will Sophie still be able to reproduce at this age, or is she done?
That's a really good question. Being 40, we probably won't breed her again. Zoos work just as hard to halt reproduction as they do to encourage it with orangutans. And we work closely with the species survival plan for orangutans and make sure that we're not overproducing, and there's always enough space to hold all the orangutans that we have in professional care. So we're thinking at 40 she's going to be done. She has 6 babies out there, and so she's very well represented. And it might be hard for an animal of that age to go through the whole process again.
How long do youngsters stay with their mothers?
Young orangutans often nurse for the first 3 years, and sometimes even beyond that. And in their native habitat, they'll live with their moms up to 6 to 8 years before they start setting up their own territory, which is still usually close by. In the beginning, they sleep in the nest on mom, and then next to mom, and then they'll start to make a nest right next to mom's nest, and over the years, that nest kind of goes further and further out.
Are orangutans in danger?
Yes, orangutans are very critically endangered. Like I said, they live on 2 islands, and the islands are also inhabited by people. And one of the big problems that they're facing right now is palm oil production. And palm oil is used in all kinds of things. Anything that you buy that has a nice, soft, silky consistency at room temperature. So it could be lotions or in soaps and shampoos. It can be in some food products like chocolate and ice creams. And the problem is in order for the people on those islands to grow palm oil, they need to use the land that the orangutans are using with their habitat. So it's been a real struggle over the past couple decades between keeping their economy going and leaving enough land for these orangutans to survive.
What can regular people do to help them?
You can be aware of what you purchase. Look for palm oil use. If you go online, you can look up companies that try and use sustainable palm oil as opposed to just first use land palm oil. We're working hard with those countries to create a sustainable program. And as you can imagine, with all the international politics, it can be harder than you might think. But just being aware of palm oil and what products have it and how the companies acquire it.
Can you remind us where Sophie was born?
Oh, sure. She was born in Texas at the Gladys Porter Zoo. That's way down south by Mexico. Here comes Heidi.
Heidi's just poking her head around.
She's a busy, busy girl.
What sorts of training do you do with orangutans?
We do all kinds, and it largely depends on what they need. We always start off with having them present different body parts and learning their body parts so we can have access to them. So hands, feet, head, belly, back, open their mouth, and then we can go from there and do different things. So if they have problems with their teeth, then we can do a lot of toothbrushing, and in fact we brush Ben's teeth on a regular basis. If they need a shot, we can train them to present their arm or their hip, and they can get a shot. We can file their fingers and toes, the nails on their fingers and toes, to keep them all in good shape. And if they, hurt themselves in some way, we can monitor that by asking them to present that body part. We work really closely with the vets and try and do stuff to help them take care of our animals too. So if we're trying to train for an ultrasound behavior or to get a temperature reading or something like that.
What's Heidi playing with over here?
Oh, that's our special puzzle box feeder. So inside that lump of cement is a grate, and we can put different things beneath the grate. And so orangutans are really good at using tools. So they can take a piece of browse and whittle it down to a stick and use the stick to fish out whatever treats we have in there.
What's your favorite thing about working with Sophie?
Working with Sophie, she is smart and she is sassy, and I really like that. She keeps me on my toes. She watches everything I do, and yeah, she's just a whole lot of fun. She wants to be a part of everything, so I like showing her everything I'm working on, even if it has nothing to do with her. Just because she likes to see how things go together. She likes to watch you write on paper. She likes to watch everything. So she's just really alert and involved in life, and I really enjoy that about her. All right, well, thank you so much for stopping by today and helping me wish Sophie a happy 40th birthday. I hope you learned something about orangutans today. I really look forward to a day when you can actually be here in Tropic World with us, and I can see you all again, and I know the orangutans are looking forward to that too. Thank you so much for supporting Brookfield Zoo. Have a great day. Bye-bye.